Adrian Coupland is head of EMEA insurance at Earnix. He joins me now. Well, Adrian, tell us a little bit about how Earnix helps insurers.
Of course, yeah. So Earnix, we've been working with insurance companies now for about 25 years globally, and we provide a platform for insurers which is AI-based, and it enables them to take core critical business functions like pricing, rating, and underwriting, and externalize them, benefit from AI and machine learning, and drive their business forward so that they can compete in a very competitive marketplace without having to rely on IT folk and IT teams to make changes and critical adjustments for them in the trading market.
Now, you've recently released a survey where you've interviewed some 400 global insurance professionals.
Yeah.
Why did you do it? What were the main highlights from it?
So the reason we do the survey is because part of the ethos of the organization, and actually fundamentally the ethos of the organization, is making sure that we add real value and we have deep knowledge of the industries and the markets that we operate in. So we run this survey annually. It gives us the view of what our clients and our markets are thinking in terms of where their business is going, where the industry is going, and where the challenges are for them. And it also helps us shape where we're taking the organization. So rather than hearing things from market sources or just relying on analysts, we actually talk to our clients, we talk to our prospects, and we understand, what's keeping them awake at night? Where are they thinking that they need to make improvements? Where do they need to change? And what issues are they seeing? So it's a great, really, really good survey. It's independent. And then from the perspective of what it has created from an insight perspective, there's the normal themes, regulatory change. There are how do they implement new technologies like AI or machine learning. But also one of the key areas of the survey which was highlighted is that modernization of technology. That actually came through in the survey as one of the key factors for all of the respondents. That is a real area that they focus on and they're really concerned about.
Well, I was going to say on that, legacy systems seems to be a major issue for insurers everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, throughout time. Why is it so difficult for companies to move beyond perhaps outdated technologies?
Great question. So I have worked in the insurance industry now for about 30 years, and I've worked in different roles, different organizations, in different disciplines. And legacy transformational modernization has always been there as a challenge in, lesser or greater degrees depending on market conditions. The thing to think about from that aspect is that these legacy systems are hardwired into multiple processes within the business, whether it's claims, whether it's reinsurance, finance, claims, underwriting, pricing. And therefore it's almost like, essentially think of it as open heart, major heart surgery. You're going to change something which essentially your entire organization operates on. And therefore there is a lot of nervousness and a lot of concern from insurance companies in terms of how do we actually do that? Interestingly, over those years of my experience of working in the market and specifically working with Earnix, what we do see is quite often insurers try to do too much. They try to change the entirety of their policy administration or their legacy technology, and it's almost like trying to boil the ocean. There's too many things to do, too many things to get done. So we really work towards directing our clients to focus on the key elements of the business. What's going to make a difference to them? What's going to make a difference in terms of their competitive advantage? How can they get better products to market? How can they change rates and rules much more quickly and much more dynamically? And by changing your policy administration system doesn't give that to you. A key part of modernization and legacy transformation is actually externalizing some of these core capabilities so that you can actually move the control and the balance of power away from the IT team within the organization and give it back to the business users, the people that actually see what's happening from a trading perspective, and give them the agility and the control to be able to see a change in the market, shift in KPI and do something about it rather than having to join an IT queue and ask for a ticket to be raised because they want to add a different underwriting rule into the marketplace.
But what can the real impacts be on insurers who don't really recognise this issue, who sort of say, well, we could probably change it, but it'll be good for another year? I mean, at what point does that start to catch up with you?
Oh, I think it catches up at a different pace depending on what stream you look at and also what market you operate in, whether it's geographically or whether it's by line of business. But there are some fundamentals. So I guess from the perspective of consumers who are buying insurance and the risks that insurance companies are underwriting and pricing, they're changing. The way that insurance is calculated today, how risks are underwritten is completely different in some lines of business to how it was 8, 9, 10 years ago. consumers will continue to change, businesses will continue to change, and risk will continue to change. And for an insurance company, they need to make sure that they're able to price effectively, price competitively, manage risk effectively. And if they don't do that, they end up in a position where their loss ratio is high, their combined operating ratio is too high. That's one challenge. Another challenge is, regulation. So ongoing, year after year, there is new and more regulation going into the market in all countries. And that regulation is very much designed to make sure that insurance companies are doing what they should be doing for looking after their clients, pricing things correctly. That regulatory agenda is only growing and getting bigger. It's not going to get smaller. And therefore, the cost to remain compliant and operate in those regulated markets will continue to grow and grow unless insurers really get on with modernization and making things more easy for them to adjust and change.
Well, on that point, I mean, we hear a lot about AI and machine learning, but I think it's fair to say we hear a lot more than we actually see taking place. So why is there the gap at the moment?
Great question. And it links very much back to the modernization point, which is, it's quite simple. I mean, we see in our world with a lot of our clients and our prospects that we talk to, that they will have teams of people within their organization that are, for example, building machine learning models to work out demand or propensity or retention. And they'll create some really good models, but the challenge of then taking those models and putting them into production is that quite often legacy systems and the lack of modernization creates a real issue. So they may build something beautifully in a lab, and then when they want to take it to market, they can take it to market maybe in a slightly less sophisticated way, but think about the aspect of they're working in a regulated environment. If that's having an impact on their pricing, there needs to be good transparency. How was that price calculated using machine learning? How explainable is it to the regulator? And therefore, that has been a critical part and an area which I think has set the market back in terms of realizing the value of new technology streams, whether it's machine learning or AI specifically, bringing them to market in a nice regulated way where it's trusted. So I think it comes back to robustness, regulation, and being trusted to make sure that it's doing what it should be doing.
A final question, Aid, you mentioned the report earlier. How easy is it to access?
Very easy. Get onto the Earnix website and click on the link and you'll get access to it.
We have to leave it there. Adrian Coupland, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.